Hello everyone, and welcome to the winter stream for Alien Horizon. Unfortunately, this stream is going to be a bit shorter than the previous one. Earlier this week I had what was probably the flu, and I wouldn't be very comfortable speaking for too long now, so this time it's only going to be the changelog and no let's play. So let's get into the changelog, and after that the new update will be released. So while I said that I said in the last stream that the updates aren't going to have that many features anymore because I'm focusing on the reworked version. This one actually does have quite a few new things, so let's take a look. Okay, so colonists now have new animations while, for example, constructing or when demolishing rocks and stuff. Let's take a look at them. Not it. Or even when they're just standing idle. For example, when they finish what they were doing. So here's an animation for demolition. It nicely fits the sound. And here for construction. Still not entirely happy with this one, but it's better than nothing. And I'm not a very good animator, but I hope I will learn eventually, and the animations will get better. I'll leave it to you to discover what all the other animations are. Sometimes you should take a look closer at the game and notice the details, because there's a lot of them. I wonder if anyone knew that colonist visors had reflections, for example. That was always the case. Well, they should be finishing now, so they should now have the idle animation. They're not completely still now. They just move around a bit. Okay. What else? Yeah. Very important new feature is that here in Loss you can now set housing restrictions. You can tell, well, by default there's a minimum occupancy level for apartments set at 50%, which means that, for example, when you build a bunkhouse and switch the arrangement to families, now you have space for 4 families of 8 people. But if there was no restriction here, like here none, then you're going to get individuals moving in, and that's a huge waste of space because 7 of the positions are not going to be filled at all. Actually, I'm not sure if anyone will actually move in because they don't consider it in any way better than their current, so could build a townhouse instead. It has better housing quality. So now you'll see that will not. Oh, I could just wake up more people and they will go there. Anyway, here you can see that only the first position is filled, and that's a huge waste of space. Well, if you set the loss to moderate, that is 50%. You can set it to even more or less, depending on what you want. Whenever a family decides where to move, they will see if they can actually fill it to at least those 50%, and if not, they will not move there. There are still people here because it actually takes them time to move out, and they won't actually move out if they have nowhere to go. But in the next hour they should probably move, all of them should move away, because now they have no, they shouldn't be there because they're not taking 50% from they're not taking 50% of the apartment. So as you can see, they're going away here. But if there's no space for them to go to, they won't be homeless, so they will still stay. So this is important if you want to manage your families and the different types of housing you may build. Another important thing is that not all types of deposits are visible right from the start. In Sandbox you can see all of them, but if we go to regular game, you'll see that the only deposits you can see at this moment is the 3 types that you start with: the water, iron ore, and sulfur. But if you want any more, if you wanted to find out where all the others are, you're gonna have to research it. It's a geological research. So yeah, we can't do that in regular. We don't have. I mean, we would have to go to Sandbox, but in Sandbox everything is unlocked, so I can't actually show this easily. But you'll see it yourself. So now that if you want like silica or aluminum ore or copper or stuff like that, you're gonna have to research, spend some geology points on that, and then they will be revealed. However, you can still survey the area blindly if you just want to check that you're not going to build on a deposit you don't know about. You can still survey it, and the deposit will show up if you survey it. You just don't have this colored bit, so you don't know where they are. Another important feature is that the auto transfer button here in cargo ships, that's very misunderstood, because a lot of people think it's a toggle, but it's actually a button that transfers all resources that are currently needed in the colony from cargo ships. Let's go back to Sandbox. And what it usually did was it sent like 5 or even just 1 resource towards the colony, and you had to click it all the time, and it was extremely inefficient. But now whenever you click it, it actually takes an entire track load that is 50 resources from the cargo ship, so it's much more usable. I actually never used it before, while now I use it all the time, so that's useful now. Okay, now we have some new content. We have some new housing, a communal house. This is actually one of the structures I didn't show off on Discord. This is like adequate quality, so zero quality. It doesn't increase or decrease morale of colonists, and it has 5 apartments for families of 5. So it's a good structure. You can, when you want to start expanding your families and get better morale for them, this is a good choice. it's still quite resource efficient, similar to a townhouse, but it's available earlier, and it has a bit more space for larger families. But it takes more space. That's the downside of it. Townhouse only uses one tile. Another new housing structure is the tenement complex, which is a much bigger version of basically townhouse. It also has spaces for families of 4, but it has a lot more of them. It's more compact. So yeah, but it also takes much longer to build. You need to research it. And in the future, these higher density buildings will have some more disadvantages, which will be possible to negate in some way. But since there are no ways to negate it yet, they don't have them. So right now, tenement multiplex is probably better than townhouse in most things, except for the upfront cost. Another very nice structure. Well, let me just show it from more sides. I spent a lot of time with these models. I want to show them off. Another new structure that had a lot of feedback on, or rather a lot of cheers on the Discord is the farm. A very large structure, but it's not actually as expensive as it looks. It's a bigger version of the greenhouse, much bigger. It actually is producing as much as 5 greenhouses. And not only that, it also has some more recipes, or other, not recipes, crops to grow, like wheat, for example. Here you can see wheat, or rice, or my favorite fruits. This one took the longest to make. You can see the individual fruit plants. I wonder if you can identify all of them. They are based on real plants. And yeah, all of these resources were in the game already, but they didn't have icons, so now they do. Now that the resources are actually useful. Another structure that's tied to the farm is the soil cultivation plant, which you need to actually make the soil, because the farm actually costs a lot of soil. That's one of the main downsides of it compared to the greenhouse, which doesn't require any. And you have to make the soil from stone, water, and carbon dioxide here in the soil cultivation plant. And it takes a while. It's 24 hours to make 800, and this requires 5,000. So you're gonna need to plan the farms a bit in advance. But they're definitely worth it, because, for example, when you grow potatoes in the farm, you grow enough for 450 colonies here. So you don't need a lot of farms for the colony, unlike with the greenhouses. This update is a bit focused on agriculture, actually. So there's another kind of agricultural building, the fertilizer plant. Here. Oh yeah, I didn't actually show the soil cultivation that much. I actually don't like this model all that much. It may change in the future. It's not that detailed. It's not as detailed as I would want it to be. So I'm not that proud of this one. Fertilizer plant, on the other hand, is a pretty nice model, and it's unit, which can actually make fertilizers now, like potassium sulfate and ammonium chloride. Those I'm quite proud of. These look nice. And chloride, much smaller one. Here you can see what you need for ammonium chloride. What actually needs ammonium chloride, because until this version no plant actually needed that. Rice needs ammonium chloride. And you do want rice because it can feed even more people than potatoes. But it also needs a lot more water. And potassium sulfate is the fertilizer that potatoes need. It's made from potassium chloride, which you can mine, and sulfur dioxide and other stuff. And it has a lot of pipes in it. Okay, another structure that's tied to agriculture and food is the food processing plant. Another more simple factory. And it actually processes food, as the name suggests, like baked goods you can make from wheat, palm oil from palm fruit, and you can finally make packaged food. So when you run out and you need some for missions for your shuttles, now you can make it. This is the recipe. You actually need palm oil for it, so, and wheat, so you actually need farms first. Yeah. Another nice new structure that you can build quite early is the self-contained autonomous reactor, which is this little reactor that's very reminiscent of the ship's reactor, based on it, but you can build it freestanding. And it does exactly the same thing as the ship's reactor. It just converts uranium into power. But with it you can double or even triple your power production from nuclear sources. You also get you have to you need a SCAR core to build them. There are 2 of them on cargo ships, only 2 of them, so you can only build 2. But unlike prefabs, when you demolish this, you get it back completely, so you can move it somewhere else. And because SCAR actually uses enriched uranium, and you don't have a lot of it when you start, cargo ships now also have some enriched uranium to replenish your reserves. So this was actually sorry. This was actually necessary so that you don't have to build that many solar arrays and wind turbines to power a later game colony. Okay, another new structure that's in this update is the school. Yeah, no, here, school. Another nice structure I'm very proud of. There's a playground for the children, and they can sit around and play near the tree and stuff. And they have a gym and all the classrooms. This one I can actually have a lot of students, so you no longer have to rely on the building community centers and building classrooms next to them. This one actually has as much space as, I think, I actually don't remember, like 6 classrooms. Yeah, that sounds right. Can uranium be mined? Not yet, but it will be. But first I need to implement nuclear processing plant, which is going to take a while, because for that I also need physics research, and for physics research I need a physics lab and a way to train physicists and stuff like that. So it's going to take a while until uranium can be until enriched uranium can be made. So not yet. The uranium is still a finite resource for now. So yes, cool. Actually, I'm not sure if I put it in the changelog, but the classroom now has bigger capacity, so you don't need that many classrooms anymore. But yeah, you still want to build the school when you can, because it frees up slots in the community center. Yeah, so another new structure is the soap factory, which makes soap from palm oil, water, and potassium hydroxide. It's a bit of a more simple factory. Some of my friends have laughed that soap is that you have a structure just for making soap. That what's going to come next? Shampoos? But yeah, soap is kind of representation of all those things like soap or shampoos or cleaning products and stuff like that. But yeah, that's also a thing that humans need in their lives, so you can make it, and you have to make it, because eventually you're going to run out. So yeah, for the soap factory you actually also need a farm, because you need palm oil. And that's it for the new structures. There are some new technologies, mostly tied to all those new structures, with one exception, and that is textile weaving, because now Compact Textile Factory doesn't need cotton agronomy, it has its own research. Because in my test I have found that it takes a long time until you actually start making cotton, because until then you can just recycle the textiles the scrap textiles that you get, and you get a lot of it. It takes a long time before you run out, so there's no reason to tie it to cotton agronomy. You can just research it later and save the biology research for the farm, for example, that you need much sooner. So that would be it. Yeah, palm fruit is a new resource, because previously there was palm oil, but it did nothing. Now you actually can make it, and you make it from palm fruit, so palm fruit was added. And all those resources that you can now make have new icons, like the new fertilizers, the new food and soil. But also, I also changed a bit the old icons for the fertilizers for the one that already have it, because where can we yeah, example here. Yeah, because now I didn't want them to be the idea was always that the four different fertilizers would have different colors, but and the shapes of those colors. But I also wanted to change their angles so that they're easy to tell apart at a glance. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if I told you that there's a fourth fertilizer now, the ammonium nitrate. You can't make it yet, but it's in cargo ships, and that's used for the wheat. game. Some new UX stuff. This free residences starting at the top. Previously was showing all of free residences, not just those that can actually be moved into. Because, for example, if here in this communal house, the apartments were taken by individuals that were taking one spot each, the other spots would still count as empty, but no one can actually move there, because they have to be families. So these are extra these extra spots are now not taken into account. So this is much more accurate. This is an important yeah, new tracked colony stats. Here in colony, you have not just population, but you have population by age, which is very important in the later game. You can tell if your school or preschool population is changing or retired. You can see it here, but you don't know the changes in it. So that's quite important. And most importantly, these two new stats, births and deaths. Now you can tell if your colony is actually growing or not, which is very important to know, because if it isn't, then it's going to die eventually. A bunch of balance changes. The most important one is that now there are only 13 cargo ships instead of 24. They have double the resources, and all of the resources in them have been completely rebalanced based on testing I have done. Some new resources were added to them, like the new fertilizers, or SCAR and car cores, like here, and the enriched uranium. So I hope this will make colonies much more survivable now that you have resources that you actually need and not those you don't. Greenhouses have increased production because testing has shown that you need a lot of greenhouses to actually sustain food production, and it was too much, so I increased their production by about 50%, but it actually depends on the crop itself. For example, potatoes were increased by 50%, but I think legumes were changed a bit differently. I don't know if more than or less, but the result is that now vegetables and legumes feed the same amount of colonists, which I think is simpler to remember. Another important thing for early game is that I have changed the order of these survival objectives. Most importantly now, life support is after oxygen security and not after steel production, so you get a life support ancillary much earlier. You also get what was it? Oh yeah, the atmosphere processor now comes after you get the life support ancillary, so that you actually know what it's for and stuff like that. So yeah, there are also a couple of new objectives, like first child and all discipline research, that should guide you a bit. It should also answer the questions that people have: why are children not born? Now it shows that for the first child to be born, you actually need short-term survival first, and then colonists will finally get children. Some of the requirements for some of these have also been changed. But even bigger change was actually for technologies. That's the next line here. Costs and requirements. For example, commercial spaces are much cheaper because I found out that by the time you unlock stores, one store is no longer enough. So you unlock it and you immediately have to build two of them, which is kind of weird. So that's cheaper. I also tweaked some of the requirements for mostly the chemistry research technologies, because there are a lot of them unlocking early that you didn't actually need. So now you should be getting the ones you need much sooner. Hope now gives 1 health. That's just to make the game a bit easier early in the game. Food providers only use packaged foods to make meals if other present ingredients don't have enough food variety. So now when you actually produce, for example, potatoes, legumes, and vegetables that you can in the greenhouse, those have together enough food variety that packaged food is no longer needed because packaged food actually gives a flat food variety of 4, and it doesn't increase it by 4, which means that when you have the ingredients to get 4 food variety without it, then it's kind of useless and you're just wasting packaged food. So now you don't. Now when the canteens and houses figure out that they don't need to use packaged food, they don't use it. So your results should last much longer. And what's also important is that because it doesn't use the packaged food, it then only uses the food types that you can actually grow. So it makes the colony sustainable on its own when you actually can grow those types of food. I'm not sure if I'm clear about this, but it would probably take a bit longer to explain it more properly. But it's a good thing. Now, demolition of large rocks is not allowed until extraterrestrial landscaping is researched. So because I've seen people demolish these big rocks early in the game, and then they don't know what to do with all the stones that they. Oh, this is interesting. Oh yeah, I know why this is the environment probe. Okay, but it's interesting. Did you see this? Yeah, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, people were demolishing these big rocks and then didn't know what to do with the stone. So now I've locked it behind research, the same one that you need to modify terrain, because I also did that landscaping because people wanted to landscape right away and it took forever, which is also the case with the rocks. Those also take forever to deconstruct. So this should discourage them. There are a bunch of technical improvements. The load between life support providers have been changed to work better. I'm not going to go into details. Colonists are woken up with certain amount of basic resources in order to not immediately lose morale over not having them. Yeah, because sometimes when you woke up colonists and they immediately went to work, they couldn't shop for the resources they need, and they were complaining that they didn't have clothes and soap, and their productivity was low. So now they spawn with a bit, and then after their shift they can top up on those goods. Sorry. This is not important. Oh yeah, this one is actually a very important change. Now colonists used to go very often. Colonists used to go eat twice per day, which is bad because it uses up too much capacity of canteens. They're only meant to be used once per day, and it was wasting a huge amount of their time. So now, and the reason that this happened is that actually colonists do eat 2 meals per day, which is necessary because of this food rationing law, and also because of children that use less food. So now it actually ensures that they would eat 2 of those meals at the same time, so that they actually visit only once per day, and this significantly improves the amount of time they actually have to do other things, and tests have shown that overall this has improved morale by about 1. So that was pretty important. And that's all of the content. There's also a lot of fixes, crashes, freezes, performance drops. Anything important? I'll probably go through all of this. Maybe you'll find some bug that... Oh yeah, actually the children weren't eating less than they should have. But that was fixed in this version. And yes, that's about it. So yeah, that's probably going to be it for the stream. I'm just going to release the update actually, and then I'm gonna sign off. So let me just do it. That's not what I wanted. I wanted. Okay. Publish. Okay. Oh, the update should be up. And that's it. Do you have any questions? I'm just going to wait for a moment. When will the next version, Complete Rewrite, be available? That's going to take a long time. I hope it's going to be next year, but I can't promise it. It's going slow. But hopefully in the next update, which is going to be in spring, in 3 months, I should have at least something to show off. And if I manage to do what I want to do with it, then it should be something very, very, very interesting and maybe even mind-blowing. But I'm sure you're going to like it. I was hoping that I would have something to show in this update, but unfortunately it's not quite finished, and I don't want... it would probably just disappoint you. Right, so there will still be updates while you're working on the rewrite. Yes, I'm already working on the rewrite, and this is one of the updates that was made during it, and this is roughly what you can expect from the updates that are going to be coming during the rewrite. So mostly new structures, some balance changes, maybe some technical improvements, generally making the game more playable in the long term. And on Discord, him is asking, how long did you need for modeling of the new structures? I mean, those details are incredible. Thank you. That depends on the structure. Actually, these two only took me each half a day, but they are not those detailed. While this is about 3 or 4 days for the unit. Just this unit. This was like 2.5 days. Something like that. The school took me for 4 days, and I remember that took a long time. I actually threw out one early version and started completely from scratch because I didn't like the first version. And the soap factory took like 1 or 2 days. Farm took a while because all those plans, like, yeah, actually, it seems like each plant is different, but it's actually each of the type of the plant is just one model. Is just slightly deformed, rotated, and scaled, and they look different thanks to that. Especially the watermelons look like they are much more chaotic than they actually are. So, any more questions? I'm really proud of this one. And there, the chemical plants are actually based on what the real plants actually look like. Not entirely, but it's more of an inspiration. It's somewhat simplified, but still, I didn't just pull it out of my, you know what. It is based on reality. Like this is actually the Mannheim process, and this big thing that should be the Mannheim furnace, for example. That's what I remember. I actually have the notes for it somewhere around here, but where I could tell you what each individual part of it is, but yeah. Sorry. So yeah, if there are no more questions, that's it for the stream. So enjoy the new update, and I'll see you in the next video, the next update, the next stream. Yeah. Bye.